Okay, so this is part on the Form 5s, the vertebrate animal forms. There's a 5A, there's a vertebrate animal form 5B. The 5A form is used when students are doing their experimentation at home or at school or out in the field. The 5B form is used if they are doing their experimentation at a regulated research institution. So I'll talk about the 5A real quick. We need the student's name, the title of the project, and then there's some questions here to answer. Pretty straightforward. Question 2 is very likely going to require an additional page attached to the 5A because there's a lot to talk about. The housing and husbandry of the animals, the cages, the size, the number of animals, how many per cage, the bedding, the food, and the water, and when, and where, and why, and how, and all those stuff. So there's a lot there to talk about. 5 is a pretty important rule. It talks about animal deaths or illnesses or unexpected weight losses of the animals you're testing. And it's to be noted here that in the state of Florida, for the Florida State Science and Engineering Fair, that if there is any loss of life in invertebrate animals, that the project is not allowed at all. So the Florida State Science Fair has got some more strict rules than ICEF does. So, and there are rules posted on this website for the Florida State Science Fair that should be reviewed by the students before they participate in that fair. So, there's a form also on the website where the registration form is for the Ying Expo and the Florida State Science Fair. There's a form called a mortality report. So if a student did a vertebrate animal research project, there's a mortality report there to fill out. It's pretty simple. How many animals used and how many died, and if any died, again, that's a bad thing. Next part on this form, this little section right in here is for the SRC and IRB of the Ying Expo to check boxes and sign. So leave that blank, and then down below there's a place for the veterinarian. So the student has to have a veterinarian sign off on this project. And there's also a place here for the designated supervisor to sign off. And there's most likely going to be a designated supervisor if the students use the 5A because they're doing it at school, home, or in field. So someone should be supervising that vertebrate animal research that the student's doing. The Form 5B is required if the student is doing the research at a regulated institution, an animal hospital, veterinary clinic, university, what have you. It requires an IACUC. Okay, an IACUC is the Institutional Animal Care and Use Committee. It is well understood and known by veterinarians what an IACUC is, and there should be a protocol number and an IACUC is associated with that project. There's questions there to answer. They're pretty straightforward, pretty easy, and then down below, the qualified scientist, principal investigator signs off on the form and dates it. Now, this form gets filled out after the experimentation is completed, so we'll be looking for that at registration in January. The 5A form is before experimentation starts. And that's it for the 5As and 5Bs.